I don't want to get too political with our conversation, but is there any connection at all to the phrase that became part of the candidate who won, "Make America Great Again"? What did that really mean in terms of how his supporters identified themselves culturally, or and the kind of anxieties that they were expressing?
I would say that culture is about myth making. No, and we need myths. We need the myths of the hero. We need our religious myths. We need our fictional myths. We need all sorts of myths, and American myth has been that of greatness, and that it's a heroic myth of a conquering hero who goes out, and it's not very different from the Greek myths or the myths in India, Mahabharata, etc. In order to convince people that you needed this person, you had to first convince people that they weren't great.
That's
right.
Which is sort of counterintuitive based on what you were just saying.
Exactly.
About the economy,
right.
About, well, forget the stock market. I mean, my goodness, I mean, it's going up still, but it was going up before
right.
The election.
And that's probably the story that historians will be analyzing forever. As I said earlier, this is not the 1930s. It's not easy to turn around and say, look at the humiliation that Germany had suffered. No, after
America
World War I.
has not suffered.
So we had not had the, but the discourse at times was similar. We nobody said we're humiliated, but said, look what's become of us. We used to be great, and here's we are now.
But what were the indicators that people were using to make that assertion?
Exactly the ones that we were talking about. When you look at what were they talking about, they were talking about our borders have been opened and people have come in and threatened our way of life. So the two that came up over and over again was, one, our neighbor to the south of us, Mexico, and the things that were said about Mexico, and the other one was our neighbor in religion, from the very same place that Christianity arose, Islam. So, and if one goes back and starts to look at not just the fact that we are all human, but just the geographical contiguity of people next to each other, knowing each other, then Christianity and Islam, born of the same place, and Mexico and the United States, born of the same land, you would think that there wouldn't be any cultural differences, but I think that's where our technologies have played a role, our media have played a role, various kinds of media, and our anxieties. I think as researchers, I think what cultural relations and cultural studies is coming forth is to speak of these globalization anxieties that people are feeling. Now, I would say, since you mentioned cultural studies, that a lot of people from cultural studies have said this didn't have anything to do with culture, this had to do with class. And that's going to be an unending debate too, that the shift of the white worker from voting for a very different president 8 years ago and 4 years ago to now voting for Trump signaled that that was the class of people that wasn't doing well. But I just, for me as a researcher, that leaves too many unanswered questions as to why still the defection was race-based. Why not the other workers?